Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we will be talking about the last trilogy in the High School Musical franchise, High School Musical 3. Now, this one I actually got. Now, High School Musical 3, this one I actually got to see in theaters when it first premiered. And let me tell you, it was a beautiful trilogy. What a ride this movie was. It was a beautiful trilogy. It was a wonderful ending to say goodbye to High School Musical. And I will cherish and love this movie as long as I shall live. So anyway, let's get right into it. Now, it starts off with Troy and the rest of the basketball team playing playing um playing the last basketball game of the season. And they are very bummed in the locker room saying, and they look so sad. And actually, they're not doing very good. So the coach marches in and says, okay, guys, no more X's and O's. Forget about the scoreboard, because this is the number that matters. 16. You have 16 minutes. You have 16 minutes left to be a team. And you have 16 minutes left in the season. And for the members of this squad, guys, you only have 16 minutes in a Wildcat uniform. So make it count. And then he says captains. And then Troy gives them the words of wisdom. And he says, all right, you guys heard coach. We only have 16 minutes. So let's make this So let's make it count. And then Chad does the Wildcat chant thing. And then we are off. And then we get our first song. Now or Never. Which is pretty catchy, I'm not gonna lie. And then, when it all just seems like it's pouring down for our boy Troy here because he gets knocked down, and then Chad's dad says from the crowd, "That's a foul." It just seems like he's just feeling down. But although who pops out of the crowd? It's Gabriella, wearing a beautiful white dress and a beautiful white bread, and a beautiful white bread in her hair, and she sings Troy. Well, she doesn't really sing it like that. And he's saying that he can hardly breathe, and then she says, "Oh, you can do it. Just know that I believe." And then he says, "Well, that's all I really need." And then he says, and then no, how'd it go? Oh yeah. And then he says, "Well, that's all I really need." And she says, "Come on." He says, "Make me strong. It's time to turn it up. Game on." And then it's like he passes the ball to Rocket Man, a new character, which he's not a bad character. I actually thought he was Mitchell Musso for a minute, but he's not Mitchell Musso. Could Could you guys not bash me in the comments? I know it's not Mitchell Misso in the High School Musical movie. But please just do not bash me in the comments, because a long time ago when I first went to go see it in theaters, I thought it was Mitchell Misso. But I know it's not Mitchell Misso. So anyway, he gets the ball, he shoots it, and they win the game. So meanwhile, the Wildcats are having a party at Troy's house, and Gabriella and him are like sitting in the treehouse, reminiscing, talking about their future, yada yada. So anyway, the coach from UFA is at their house. And Gabriella says, "Well, is that the coach from UFA down there?" And she said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Yeah. It always been my dad's dream, and now I'm gonna end up in his alma mater." And then this is when Gabriella looked at him, and then he said, "Did I really just say that?" And then Gabriella says, "Well, I know what you mean. Me and my mother have been talking about Stanford University for as long as I can remember." And then he says, as a joke, he says, "Well, you're already in. That's so cool." And then Gabriella says, "Well, she won't stop talking about it. It's embarrassing." And then Troy says, "Well, come on. She's proud of you. I'm proud of you." And then Gabriella says, "The thing about Stanford is it's 300 miles from here." I know, Troy says. And then we get another song right here, right now, the romance song. What about? They're not going to think about tomorrow or college. They're just going to think about right here, right now, which I think is a beautiful song. So after the song, they go downstairs. Well, Troy actually goes downstairs in a cave because Gabriella found it and she put it on him, and she said that line, "See, just like kindergarten," just like she said in the first movie to him. And then the next day, we get a look at Sharpay Evans in her new car and her no, and her pink car that says "Fabulous" from the second movie. And she is walking down the hall, and she's got her stationery in her hand, and she is opening her locker and kissing the snow globe that had the picture of her dog in it. And when she closes it, she meets Tiara Goad, an exchange student from England. And she notices on the board that Sharpay put out an ad for a personal assistant, and then Sharpay says, "Yeah, well, I need someone to run lines with me for the school musical and to help me with all my assignments and my lunch schedule." And she says, "Have no fear, I am here." So she brings her a coffee and and like 2 sugars, but I'm not pretty sure. What does she have in her hands? Like, the girl had something in her hand, and it probably was a recorder, because, man, when I tell you that she knows Sharpay's schedule, she knows her math and science schedule, and then Sharpay even asks this question, and then Tiara says, "Well, I took the liberty of checking." And then Sharpay says, "Okay, I will I, 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 I will email you my outfit schedule, and I will make sure I email them to you so our outfits don't crash. And, by the way, I love the accent, it's sweet. But, girl, do you not see anything strange about her, Sharpay? Like, doesn't she seem a little too perfect?" But anyway, they are off to class, And Miss Darvis says, I know we are excited for a Wildcat weekend and congrats on winning the game. Oh, and Sharpay gave them a congrats too, but she forgot that the game was yesterday and not today. And then Sharpay wishes Troy luck, and then and then Zeke says, "Oh, she's so sweet." And then for some reason, Troy smacked my boy Zeke for saying that she was sweet. Leave my boy Zeke alone. Leave Zeke alone. And so, with that said, when they are in class, they 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 get the theme from they get a talk from Taylor, who is on the prom committee, and Chad tried to make a joke and says, "Yeah, what's the lunch special in the cafeteria today?" And then Taylor says, "Well, New York Deli." Any other questions? And prom is coming up, and this year's theme is the last waltz. But Taylor taps Chad's desk. And Chad, if this wasn't a wake up call for you to ask Taylor to prom, I'm not sure what is. She taps Chad's desk and says, "But don't be the last to pick up your tickets." And with that, there is a big show coming up, and Sharpay, in Sharpay fashion, just says maybe it could be a one-woman show. And then Kelsey, sweet Chelsea, is trying to get everybody to sign up for the show, and she puts everyone's name on there. And since everybody's name is on there, they have to show up in the auditorium during free period so they can discuss the show. But they're all biting Kelsey's head off when they go to the auditorium because everybody has finals. They have a yearbook to edit. But this is the last show, you guys. But my girl Gabriella, have no fear because Gabriella says, "Come on, you guys, we should do this. Something really fun." So what do you say, Wildcats? And then they all complain and say, "No, I'm not gonna do it." And then she gets Troy to raise his hand and says, "I'm in." And then Chad says, "What could be fun?" And then Chad says, "Fine, but what is it about?" And then Miss Darvin showed up and says, You Mister Danforth, the spring musical is all about you guys." And then Martha Cox walks in, and then and then and then and 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 then Miss Darvis gives them all their college applications and said that they all got in. But oops, someone didn't apply to college because when they were all lined up on stage, Miss Darvis said, "All line up on stage and tell me about your futures." But everyone told them about their futures, but Chad's not sure about what his is going to be yet. So everybody gets everybody gets a book of the college that they applied to, and Troy gets a book from And Troy, wait, wait, wait. And our boy Troy gets a book from Miss Darvis from the National from the Juilliard School in New York City, and he says, "Ha ha 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 ha." Very funny, guys. Now, who's the big comedian? And then Miss Darvis says, "Well, is something wrong?" And then he says, "Yes, something's wrong. I never heard of Juilliard." And then Miss Service says, "Well, you may have never heard of Juilliard, or Mr. Bolton, but Juilliard has heard of you." And then Martha Cox walks in. I'm sorry that I got you guys confused. And then it is lunch period because everybody was discussing their dreams in their futures, and Troy didn't know what his was going to be because he was too busy focusing on who sent the application in if it wasn't me. And then Gabriella chimed in and says, "I think we should plan the perfect clown." And then Sharpay just really cuts her off and says, "Golly gee, how adorable. What do I want? Gee, I want to know where I should begin." A stage that reads, and then it cuts to the cafeteria. But we all know what Sharpay was gonna say. A stage that reads Sharpay Evans. So Gabrielle, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sharpay, Sharpay at that lunch talking to Ryan about how, how did Troy get in? And he's trying to pretend that he didn't know. And then Ryan tries to take up for him and says, "Well, he seemed pretty surprised to me." And then, we get, and then, Sharpay says, "Performers can't fool me, Ryan." And then we get the iconic song, I Want It All. And then we get the iconic song, I Want It All, from High School Musical 3. Oh, and I Want It All is such a bop. It is such a good song. But the High School Musical 3, the CD, all the songs are good on it. And then after that, Sharpay tells Ryan to get the best song that Kelsey is writing for Troy and Gabriella because she always gives them the best songs to sing in the show. And she tells Ryan, "You make sure that we get those songs." And then Ryan says how. And then Sharpay says, "Polish her glasses, buy her some ruby slippers, take her to prom. I don't know, just do it." And then he says, and then we cut over to the next scene where Troy is actually fixing his car. And then he tried to explain to Chad that he may want to do something different. He may want to do something different than play at UFA with him. Like probably go to the Juilliard school. But Chad tells him, "Do you see what happens when you do a show? You're like 10 people." And then we get the iconic song, "The Boys Are Back." Wait. Hang on. The part didn't happen yet. But before this, um, no. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to backtrack. Before that happens, Gabriella and Troy do have a conversation of like about how much Troy loves theater, but it's hard to say how much he loved theater to Chad and his father, because Chad and his father always talk about basketball, and he doesn't want his his best friend and his father to be disappointed if it if he goes to Juilliard and not UFA. But I'm like, Troy, do what's best for you. And he loves theater. He really does. He just doesn't want to disappoint his father. And and this is when Gabriella says, "I get it, Troy. I still have decisions to make too." While they are sitting in a hammock. And 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 this is when Troy says, "Like what?" And then the mother interrupts her conversation by saying, "I just made some snacks inside. Are you guys hungry?" And then Gabriella says, "We're just talking, Mom." When the mom asks, when the mom asks, "I interrupted something, didn't I?" And then Troy tries to say, "We're talking about homework." And then Gabriella gets up and says, "Speaking of homework, come on." And then Troy says, "Oh, I was joking." And okay, 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 okay. So so um so, so the next day Gabriella is talking to Taylor about how she didn't how, how she did not get a phone call to Juilliard that she got in because she applied to the Stanford program, which Juilliard is connected to. So they took Gabriella in as as so they took Gabriella in as one of the number ones who can go to this Stanford honors program, but she hasn't told anybody else that she applied but Taylor. And then Taylor says, "Well, you're gonna be hearing from them any day." And then before this, Taylor makes a joke of, yes, by say, by 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 saying yes to Gabriella when she asks if she is coming to rehearsals. And this is when Taylor says, "Well, I don't even see why you want us to come to do the show, even though you're not gonna be here." And then the phone rings, and then Taylor thinks it's just the the Stanford Honors Program people calling, but it's actually her boyfriend Chad. No, 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 no. I cannot believe I messed that up. It is actually her boyfriend Troy that tells her that he needs her on the roof, and then when she gets there, he asks her, "What tux do you think I should wear?" And then she says the black one. I never been asked to a prom, but this almost seems like an invitation. So she picks the black tux, and then he he gets her the tickets, and then they do a sweet little waltz, and then it starts to rain, and it's beautiful because they sing this song, "Can I Have This Dance?" And then the next day, Chad asks Taylor to prom on a cafeteria table in front of everybody with some flowers that actually looks like grass. The flowers just look like grass. I know that the gardening club for that high school could have done better about getting him some better flowers to give Taylor. But she said yes, and then they played the song "A Night to Remember." And then while Kelsey is rehearsing the song "I Just Want to Be With You," Ryan asks her to prom while he's playing the piano. And it was so smooth the way he did it. I'm just saying. Ryan, my boy, you are smooth. You were smooth about acting girls to prom. I love the way he did that. He was like, "Speaking of prom, what are you doing?" And then Kelsey says, it's 2 days before the show. I had to write illustrations and I still have to write lyrics. And then he says, "Great, I'll pick you up at 8." So Kelsey's got herself a date to prom. Yay. And after that, wait. After "Can I Have This?" No, 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 and no. After "A Night to Remember," this is where we cut into the Boilerback. I am sorry that I got you guys off track. Then after this, Sharpay just walked right up to Troy and tells him that she is there to give her congratulations to Gabriella about the Stanford Honors Program. And you know who gave her this information? Miss Tiara Gold. "Sharpay, what have I told you? This girl is too nice. I don't trust her, Sharpay." And Miss Tiara Gold doesn't like her because you guys will see when I tell you at the end what happens. So, since Troy knows that he's holding Gabriella back, he goes to her house with pizza and chocolate strawberries and some sodas, and he tries to convince her to take the scholarship, but she doesn't want to because she'll be away from all her friends and him. And then he gets upset, and and then and then he gives her a quick little kiss, and then he just goes off from the tree down to his truck that doesn't work. This truck needs a new this truck needs a new engine. So he ends up walking home and just leaving his truck there. But I think he comes back for it. Because the engine has been acting up from the beginning of High School Musical 3. But the truck's not the problem. So we get the iconic song, Walk Away. That's the problem. Because she's walking away to the scholarship. To the Stanford Honors Program scholarship. She's walking away. And when Troy gets home the next day, he actually shows his mom the tux. And the mother already ordered the corsage. But you know what? Troy gets a call from her saying that she can't do this and that she's not coming home for prom or to graduation. And then Chad tries to talk to him and says, "Hey, dude, that's lousy, man. But hey, listen, you do not take the girl with you at the end of high school." Gabriella's just one step ahead as usual, and Taylor's heading to Yale, so I am right there with you. And then you and me are going to go to UFA. It's a whole new ballgame. And then Troy just said, maybe I just don't see my life as a ball game anymore. Man. And then Chad says, listen, you're gonna go to prom with all your friends and you're gonna have a good time. And then Troy says, well, I don't plan on missing my prom. And then Chad says, that's good. And then the next scene is with Gabriella walking out of her class and a truck, Troy's truck, is smoking and he is sitting up in a tree and he says, figured you would be the last one out of the building. And then Gabriella says, I don't believe this. You are so crazy, Wildcat. And what is it with you and trees? And he says, I guess I see things more clearly from way up here. And then he said the iconic line, if I'm going to have the last dance at East High, it's going to be with you. And then he puts the corsage on her finger, and then they do a reprieve of Can I Have This Dance? And it is so beautiful. And then he tells her that he has changed since she came to East High, and East High is changing now because she left. And even though she's ready to say goodbye to East High's not ready to say goodbye to her. And so she goes back for graduation. And then we step into the show, but Troy's not there because you guys remember that no, I'm so sorry, you guys. He went to go get Gabriella. So, since Rocket Man is his understudy, oh, I forgot to tell you. Rocket Man and Tiara Gold and Rocket Man and Tiara Gold played the understudies for Troy. And Tiara Gold played the understudy for Sharpay. Now keep that in mind. So with Troy's understudy, he's a little bit nervous. So when the song starts, he's not out there, and Sharpay has to start again, and then And then Rocket Man showed up in his outfit and he sings and everybody loves it except for Sharpay because he had this annoying perfume on what I think she is allergic to. And then after the song she runs off the stage. But then Troy and Gabriella show up and they do a reprise of I Just Want to Be With You. And then when Sharpay gets into her dressing room, guess who's in her dress? Miss Tiara Gold. Sharpay, what have I told you about watching out for yourself, girl? So it turned out that Miss Tiara Gold only worked for her to know all about East High. And now that she knows about East High, she needs Sharpay to step aside so she could give a good freshman so that she can make a good first impression because it's going to be her drama department next year. But do you think that's the end of Sharpay? No. Sharpay goes on the stage anyway and performs her song with Tiara trying to outstage her, but no one outstages our girl. So they both perform the song while fighting with each other, and it is very strange. But when it but but when it is over, her parents still clap for her and says, "Yay, Sharpay, you did a wonderful job." And then we get the graduation. And so everyone graduates, but this is the big kicker. So Jason graduated and he got so excited that he jumped and hugged his friend like, "Dude, I'm graduating," and he had a little hat on. It was so cute. And then when everyone graduates, like Taylor did a little snap because she's going to do science. And then Ryan got a free scholarship with Sharpay, so they're both going to the same school, but they're going to do different things. And when it came up to Chad left because he chose the school by Gabriella. So now Troy is going to Berkeley where he can pursue theater and basketball. And it's only a couple of miles away from Stanford, from Gabriella, so yay! So with this, Chad leaves and he is playing basketball, and this is when Troy actually said, this is when Troy and him actually have a heart to heart and saying, well, once they give our diplomas out to us, I guess we're done being friends here. And then this is when Troy says, well, what makes you think that we are getting diplomas? And then Chad asks one last question. Does Burke did so my boy Chad asks one more question. Does Berkeley play? And then Troy says, yeah, we are going to kick some red hot, and we are gonna kick some red hawk butt next November. And then Chad says, game on. And then the coach finds him and says, "Get back on stage right now." And then Troy says, "I never thought I'd hear my dad say that, Chad." And then they run back on stage, and then he gives his father a little pat on the back, and then the graduation speech where Troy says, Troy says, "East High is where we're gonna make things. We can have the rest of our lives, and East High is where you can break the status quo, and East High is where like one person meets the right person." And it shows that us Wildcats are really all in this together. And then it ends with the High School Musical remix song. And then that is the end of High School Musical 3. So, yes, it is a beautiful trilogy, and Troy and Gabriella really did end up together at the end because their colleges are 5 minutes away from each other. Sorry, you guys, they got the hiccups. And it was a really beautiful movie, and I am so glad that I went to go see it. Sorry, you guys, I got the hiccups. Bye. See you guys in my next video.